What We're Enjoying Wednesday, part of Elmhurst Public Library at Home, the library's online program series. Normally, our staff would be talking to you about books and movies and TV shows that they have recently enjoyed, but this week we're going to take a look forward and tell you about some of the exciting spring releases we are most looking forward to. What I'm anticipating right now is a new book from Becky Chambers called The Galaxy and the Ground Within. This is expected out April 20th and is the fourth book in the Wayfarer series, which focuses on a different group of characters in a different place of the universe in every book. This next one will take place on what is essentially an intergalactic truck stop where a few strangers have been waylaid with no idea of when they can get off the planet, which really has not much more to speak of than a stopover on the way to somewhere else. Something else I'm anticipating is all of the new shows from Disney Plus taking place in the Star Wars and Marvel universes, but particularly The Bad Batch, which is a sequel and spin-off from the animated series Clone Wars. It focuses on a small group of the clones who have some kind of abnormality that has given them special powers. And this will take place during the transition from the Republic to the Empire. These are some very interesting characters. I really enjoyed seeing them in the Clone Wars, and I'm looking forward to the new series. There is no specific release date for this yet, but it is anticipated in the first quarter of 2021, so I'm hoping we'll get a release date any day now.
Hi everyone. There are so many books that I'm looking forward to being published this year, but I finally narrowed it down to two that I want to share with you today. One is The Ghost Variations, 100 Stories by Kevin Brockmeyer. Each story in the book is only 2 pages long. If you're looking for something that has a combination of quirky, creepy, amusing, and thought-provoking, you might want to be on the lookout for this book. The other book that I want to tell you about today is Liberty by Caitlin Greenidge. It's set in Brooklyn after the Civil War. Liberty's mother is a doctor and wants Liberty to also go to medical school and then join her practice. Liberty has a hard time imagining herself doing this and also finds herself drawn to music instead of science. Fans of Brit Bennett and Ya Jesse might want to consider this novel. Both of these books are due to be released in March, and I'm looking forward to reading them. Happy reading, all!
Hello everyone. A book that I'm really excited about is Anvi Huang's Why Do You Look at Me and See a Girl? It's coming out later this year, and it follows Anvi's journey as a bilingual Vietnamese American woman. It's part memoir, part social criticism that bridges both the past and the present and shines a bright light on the United States and Vietnam. You can find it on shelves starting in April.
Hey folks, unfortunately for Marvel fans like myself, the release date for Black Widow keeps getting pushed back due to COVID, but fortunately, Marvel has been releasing a lot of original content TV series on Disney Plus and has a great lineup for the next few months. Currently, they're releasing 1 episode a week for the WandaVision series, which is set to have its season finale on March 5th, and then we only have to wait about 2 weeks until their next series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, is released on March 19th. Falcon and the Winter Soldier is going to have Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes figure out who gets to carry the mantle of Captain America since Steve Rogers retired at the end of Avengers Endgame, and I am so excited for this series. And when Falcon and the Winter Soldier wraps up, we will have the new series Loki on Disney Plus to look forward to in May. So if you're obsessed with Marvel like I am, there is a bunch of original content being released on Disney Plus in these next few months to look forward to and enjoy.
Later this year, I'm really excited for the new TV series that premieres on AMC in the summer called Kevin Can Himself. It stars Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek, and it looks like it's going to have an interesting take on the sitcom style. If you know King of Queens and other sitcoms like it, it alternates between that multi-camera typical sitcom era and that harsh reality of the drama world with a single camera. So it looks really interesting. I'm definitely excited for that. And another thing I'm excited for is Myles Kennedy's new album that's due out in May. Myles Kennedy is a singer, guitar player, does a lot of rock and roll music. He is the lead singer of the band Alter Bridge, This is a solo album, and he has a new single that just came out this week called In Stride, which I really liked. Listened to it a few times yesterday, so I'm excited to see what he puts out on this album. And that, I believe, comes out in May.
Hi, folks. I wanted to share some of the books that I have on hold. They're coming out in the spring and early summer this year. The first one is called The Committed by Viet Thanh Nguyen. This one is a sequel. This is the sequel to his 2015 novel, The Sympathizer, which is the story of a North Vietnamese double agent at the end of the Vietnam War. The Committed picks up in Paris, where the narrator is living as a refugee, and he falls into a new profession as a drug dealer. Interested to see what happens next for this character, because I really enjoyed that first novel by this author. The second one is called The Vixen, and it's a novel by Francine Prose. It takes place in the 1950s literary world of Manhattan, where a young Jewish man who is hired by a distinguished publisher is given the assignment of editing a steamy bodice ripper, which is based on the recent trial of the Rosenbergs. I thought that was an interesting combination, and I'm interested to see how this young man makes that work. And the third book that I wanted to share is The Thousand Crimes of Ming Su by Tom Lin. This one is a classic Western with a twist. The protagonist is a Chinese immigrant raised by a crime boss, and he falls in love with the daughter of a railroad magnate. And when she is cruelly ripped away from him, he seeks his revenge. He goes on a journey to find her. So this one caught my eye because it's being called by reviewers as being compared to Cormac McCarthy and the Coen brothers' version of True Grit, which I enjoyed very much. And since I'm a fan of both of those things, I'll be checking this one out. All of these titles that I talked about today are on order at EPL, which means you can place holds online in our catalog, or you can give us a call and we can do that for you.
Hi there. Here are some things coming out this spring 2021 that I'm excited about. First up, new Pokemon Snap is coming out April 30th for the Nintendo Switch. This will be the first entry in the Pokemon Snap series for over 20 years. Players focus on taking pictures of Pokemon as opposed to battling and catching them. The first game was a unique and relaxing gameplay experience, so I expect it to be that way again, now with better graphics and new Pokemon. Next up, Alison Bechdel of Fun Home fame has a new graphic memoir coming out on May 4th. It's called Secret to Superhuman Strength and focuses on Bechdel's longtime passion for fitness fads. I'm not a big fitness nut myself, but Bechdel's work is always funny, nuanced, and engaging, so I'm excited anyway. The last one I want to share is The Bombay Prince, the new third installment in Sujata Massey's Perveen mystery series, which follows India's first female lawyer in the 1920s. This series stands out because of its unusual setting. I always learn some fascinating new details about Indian history when I read these books. We have the first title, Widows of Malabar Hill, in our book discussion collection on the second floor. Happy reading!